Welcome back to Bright Raven Gaming. I, as always, am your host, Bastion, and today we're back in Dead by Daylight. Sort of. This is my unpopular discussion series. I don't know if I'm going to make a series out of this or not. You guys can tell me down in the comments below. The last one was over the theories about Chapter 20 and what I thought, how everything was going, and we had a really good discussion. There were very few people. There were a couple that were rude, but I thought I might want to come and talk with you guys about another subject. It might not take quite as long as the last one, but we'll see. I have running in the background just a random game. It's an ace game. Hopefully this will cut me a little bit short if I'm getting a little long-winded. All right, and before we start, if you guys are enjoying these videos, give me a like. That tells me that you like this series. If you want me to keep doing videos like this, keep hitting that like button. Comment down below, tell me what's going on with it. And lastly, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really does help the channel grow and also reach out to other members of the community. And there's a lot of us out there, right? There's a lot of content creators that do stuff like this, except they're better at editing, and I'm not. So I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm just going to push forward. Now, what are we going to talk about today? What are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about today balance. Balancing issues in this game. My personal feeling is that it is better balanced now than it has ever been in the history of DBD. That is a very bold statement, but I think it is an accurate statement. Because I believe that they are working toward that balance. You know, they're working toward it. But it's going to take a while. And the biggest thing, because I've actually seen on the forums different posts saying that 2016 was better than 2021 when it comes to balance of DBD. That is, in my opinion, completely and utterly wrong. I don't think they could be any more wrong if they tried. Because if you watch old footage, and there are quite a bit of it that you can look at, you will notice that it was so broken at the beginning of the game that I'm actually surprised the game survived because of how survivor-sided it was. It's still survivor-sided, if you ask me. The game is still survivor-sided. For example, in 2016, if you broke a hook with sabotage, or you broke one of the trapper's traps, that was it. That trap was gone. That hook was gone. They were gone. There was no coming back from that, right? And the glitches that were going on, different things like that, I don't understand why anybody would ever say that it was better in, 2016 better than it is now. But I would definitely like to get your guys' opinion on this as well. I mean, back then, you could 99 all the gens, and then go around to all of the gens, and then tap them, and then just boom, 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 all 5 of them almost at once, right? And the reason you could do that is because the killer could not kick the gen. There was nothing that they could do with the gen. How is that balanced? How is that good for the game? I don't think it's good in any way, shape, or form for the game. I think it's very, very poor for the game. And I'm glad they did away with that. I'm glad they've built it up. Now, a lot of people say, well, why don't they try to, instead of putting out DLCs, work on patches to where they can balance and different things like that? Well, the thing is, this game is huge. This game is massive. It's huge. And every time they put something into it, they have to rearrange a few things. So even if they were not putting out as many DLCs as they would, anytime they do a DLC, it would still be a fact that they would have to, fix a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. Now, other things in the balance, like the most notable thing in the past few patches they've done is they nerfed Decisive Strike, which is really good the way it used to be when it was first there, anytime you were down, they picked you up, boom, decisive strike straight out of the hands. That was way too overpowered. And what they've been doing lately, they've been really helping bring balance back to it. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, to have balance, right? And here's my opinion of a balanced game. Right? Here's my opinion of a balanced game. A balanced game is a game that has 2 survivors escape, 2 survivors die. Everybody gets blood points. Everybody's happy. Everything works. That's a good, balanced game. What we're dealing with right now is, if you have a good survivor with friends group or a good group of survivors, they can be randoms, but if you have a good group, the killer has almost no chance unless they are a top tier, amazing killer. A normal survivor with friends that are not all that impressive, going up against a top tier killer, the top tier killer is going to absolutely wipe them out. They're not going to stand a chance, because top tier killers do not care whether you're survivor with friends, do not care what perks you're running. They're just going to absolutely decimate. And you can see that on a lot of streams, a lot of well, everything. It's just, if they're good enough, they're going to get those 100 win streaks. They're going to get those 50 win streaks, right? And they get them just because of how good they are. And they could do it with a variety of killers. It's actually kind of amazing to watch, but after about the first 20 or 30 win streak, you know, it kind of gets a little boring. But that's fine. And see, that's kind of the way the game in itself should be balanced. It should be top tier versus top tier, i.e. full-on survive with friends, really good players that have earned their rank 1, right, should be the ones that are going up against the top tier killers that do not care about anything that you're getting. And people still complain about this perk, that perk, camping, tunneling, keys, Moris. There's, okay, keys and Moris. Keys have, they've started the nerf on keys. They have started the nerf on keys. The hatch only being open for 10 seconds instead of 30. That was the beginnings of taking care of the keys. And they said they were not done. That's going to continue. So, okay. They've already done that with Moris. They've balanced that. Those kind of are a counterbalance to each other. So, they're getting more to the balance on that. Next, camping and tunneling. Well, camping and tunneling are not what I would call clean ways of playing or straight ways of playing. They're kind of crooked ways of playing. They're kind of dirty. But they're ways of playing, and there's nothing wrong with it. They're completely legit. And the counters are, certain perks counter them. Also, just doing gens counters them if somebody's camping. It's a counterable situation. So there is balance there. And, I mean, that's ultimately what we want for the game, right? Is balance. The thing that seems to be the most imbalanced to me, in my opinion, is the ranking system. That is what is keeping rank 20s and rank 20s, you know, the most amateur of amateurs, at their place. And then the mid ranks, which is going to be your biggest bunch of the player base, is going to be like from rank 15 down to rank 5. That's going to be your basic people. That's going to be the majority of your people. It should be. Right? That should be the majority of your player base. If that is the majority of your player base, there's not going to be any super great ones or super bad people, because they should all be equal. Right? That'll cut around a lot of the balancing issues of the game, because that is going to keep the elites down at rank 1, 2, and 3, and the newbies up at rank 20, 18, 20, 19, 18, right? That's going to keep that in there. And then you have like 16 and 17 and 4 and 5 for your little bit better, but not pure noob or not great, right? That's going to be, that's what we need. And that's what we really need to focus on, I think. I think beyond trying to balance too many more perks, because they just put out stats on Decisive Strike. Decisive Strike, they use statistics to make the justification for the nerf. The nerf definitely needed to happen, but once the statistics were shown, it does the exact same thing. Decisive Strike is giving the exact amount, almost the exact percentage of escapes that they had before. Now, of course, there are circumstances that, the statistics are just statistics, right? They're not, yes, this is exactly the reason why this happens all the time. This is the only truth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's one example. Okay. The object of obsession perk. Its nerf, I think, is far more fair for both sides. I think if you're wanting to run that, you're wanting to run that for a particular reason. I think it's really good. Also, what was it? The one where you get people off the hook. Oh, I can't think of what it is. But the way they were able to pull that off to where, Freddy or any other stealth killer could have just gone through it. Borrowed time. There you go. It's borrowed time. But yeah, they took away that loophole. It was, in a sense, a loophole. And they took that away. So I think that was great. I think that was absolutely fantastic. I think they are doing a great job on their attempt to balance this game out. But the problem is, beyond the difficulties with matchmaking, the other difficulty is the player base. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is one of the most toxic. This is one of the most toxic player bases and communities I've ever been a part of. It is an extraordinarily toxic community, and it's going to happen because it is a PvP community. It's going to be toxic. So even if they were able to balance this game out perfectly, I mean absolutely perfect, no questions about it, it was immaculately awesome, you're still going to have certain streamers and certain YouTubers that have a zoom out on their screen so they have an advantage, right? So that's going to be out of balance. You're still going to have killers that are going to try and I don't know exactly which exploits the killers would have, as well as the exploit for zooming out the screen for a survivor. You guys can tell me down below what you guys think on that. But I don't think that... I think that should be as bannable as a lot of other things if you try to get that POV, because let's face it, that gives the survivor a serious advantage. A serious advantage. And I don't think they should have that advantage. I don't think they should have that advantage at all. But the biggest thing that we can do as a community is say, okay, I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to really be as competitive as some of the others. If we can start having that sort of mentality, that kind of, I want to win, but at the same time, I want to work and play and have a good time with the rest of these guys too, and not just, BM my way into the record books of everybody else's heart, because I am the biggest jerk that there possibly can be. That should not be what we strive for. We should be striving for a healthy and happy community. And I believe that the devs are doing a good job and going forward with their balancing issues. I think that is doing a great job. I think they're getting there. Now, of course, this is going to change every time we have issues with different killers and stuff like that. They're going to have to be balanced. Like, for example, the Trickster, he was poorly balanced, and he was kind of weak. So was the Demogorgon, and now they made him a little bit stronger. And I definitely think that that's good to make them a little bit stronger, because let's face it, it's 1 against 4. And that's the bottom line of the game. It's 1 against 4. So the killers should definitely be strong, right? There's not any way that the killers should be weak. The killers should be strong. And I definitely think that the balance is going in the right direction. And hopefully you guys see it as well. But 2016, in comparison to now, I don't think there is a comparison. I think now is far more balanced, and I think it's getting more balanced with every patch. And I definitely think that we just have to bear with them and work with them. And I think that we will eventually have a game that is great for not only a few individuals, but for everybody. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I know I did. And if you have, well, I don't know if you want me to make this a series or not when I have an unpopular opinion. If you do, definitely leave a like on this video, and I really want a discussion about it. But until next time, I've been Bastion, this has been Bright Raven Gaming, and I wish you all a fantastic day.